Hi everyone, this is Terry Nazon, and this is the horoscope, the weekly horoscope for the sign of Leo or Leo rising for November 20th through November 27th. And of course, this week is a stellar week like all weeks are. There's always something wonderful going on astrologically. And this week, the sun enters fire sign Sagittarius. And because Leo is a fire sign, this should go very well for you. And of course, the sign of Sagittarius is on your fifth house cusp of love and romance. The fifth house, like I was saying in the Cancer horoscope, the fifth house is a complicated house because it's where it rules love, romance, the usual things, dating, courtship, but also it's where you can fall madly in love. But one thing is that Saturn is there also, but Saturn soon will be leaving your fifth house. So as the sun swoops through, clears up a lot of misunderstandings. And why do I say that? Because the planet Mercury has been out of bounds. As of November 7th, he came back in bounds with loads of information. And perhaps you also have been finding something out, about your children. Fifth house rules children. About taking chances, investments, and of course, your self-confidence, where you're not so self-confident and where you need to be more self-confident. Additionally, love, romance, dating. But also because Saturn is here, I'm wondering how many out there have suffered through unrequited love. Anytime Saturn gets into the fifth house, we got a situation on our hands where we fall madly in love with somebody who doesn't necessarily return our intentions or our devotion. And of course, we know that Saturn is leaving this area of your chart. You're going to be wanting a more settled routine, a more standard routine, more security and safety. So your desires, your taste in romantic partners is about to change shortly. And I'm wondering if when the sun enters your fifth house, will that be somebody new who might fit into the new lifestyle that you have coming up for you? We'll have to wait and see. And of course, the planet Neptune goes direct. The planet Neptune is in the sign of Pisces. This is your solar eighth house. With this aspect between the fifth house and the eighth house, this is how I see it in my brain. So the fifth house is about love and romance. The eighth house rules intimacy, sex, overcoming challenges. And so this can suggest that relationships, love interests have been more complicated than normal. Even if you were, let's just go for a mundane thing like investing. The fifth house rules taking chances, investing, gambling. You know, this would be somebody who rides high at the casino. Not with Saturn there though. Normally, that you might be able to do something like that. This is about passionate love affairs. It's about investing. It's about taking chances. And of course, gambling. And you can gamble in the stock market. You can gamble with a lotto ticket, all of these things. So as Neptune resumes direct motion, the sun comes into the fifth house. Maybe it's going to affect your luck a little bit more. Maybe you'll figure something out. Oh yeah, I shouldn't have bought the lotto ticket on Tuesday. Maybe I should buy it. You know, maybe I really should have played the birthday number. So something could tick. If you're an investor, definitely want to pay attention this week because something could come together. Some aspect that would change the way that you think about investing, about your chances for luck, about your children, or love and romance. Does that mean that Leo might meet somebody new? If you're single and you're available, absolutely. Or could you be learning something new about somebody that you used to date? Could you be learning something new about somebody that you meet? Because always Neptune has this funny way of giving us secrets revealed. So we still want to be a little cautious and figure things out about whoever we're involved with. This is a romantic aspect for sure. And it's going to depend on how your planets in your natal birth chart are configured. And if your fifth house or your romantic planets are placed well. Of course, we know that you have the lunar south node in your seventh house too. So that only complicates matters. Okay, this week we have a second quarter moon. By the way, the moon is going to be in the sign of Aquarius for Thanksgiving, so you might want to plan your Thanksgiving dinner for after 3:30 p.m. People will just be in a better mood. They'll be more open. They'll be lighthearted, ready to mingle, and that just might be a funner time for you, especially if you've been slaving over the stove cooking a turkey. We have the second quarter moon in the sign of Pisces also, and this is your 8th house. The 8th house, again, like I said, can be very passionate. It can also be very jealous, and it's about obsessions, which I think is delicious. So there can be obsessions, romantic obsessions, and we know that to be true because Saturn's been in your 5th house. So who have you been obsessing over? And we also want to avoid our married people. If you're single and someone else is married, maybe that's something you might want to think about. So Neptune goes direct here in your solar 8th house and, of course, changes the game. Secrets can be revealed and, of course, mysteries solved.